stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing in honor of those serving in the military. Great, thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Make a motion to approve the previous board minutes, September 8th and September 22nd, 2025. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't see any Suffolk County Police here. When you guys come, we'll let them come up. One of the issues that we've been having very recently, it's been a quiet summer as far as the boats. Nothing's been stolen, and then all of a sudden, in the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple of incidents. So people do leave things on their boats. I'm not saying they're asking for trouble, but please get all your stuff away from your boats. All right. Reports to the mayor and the trustees. Trustee Fawcett, want to start, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, trustees, residents. So we've changed a couple of responsibilities here in the village. We're all responsible for everything. That's how the oversight works, but we were kind of all focused on one thing or another. So my role has changed now as deputy mayor, where I'm doing more of a comptroller thing, looking at our books, making sure that everything is done as per the state. We had an order in, said we had to tighten up some of our policies, so I'm doing that. I'm also looking at our financials every month to see where we are compared to last year. Everything seems okay. Obviously, we had a couple of big expenditures, such as the Levy boat, and we're rolling in a new payroll system. So some of our numbers aren't up to speed yet, but they will be within the next quarter. We're also looking at a couple of things in finance. Just obviously, we have speed humps. We're going to use that at CHIPS money, but anybody who's been down at Orinoco Corridor lately knows that that road is coming apart, and if we don't repair it before it comes apart, it's going to cost twice as much to rebuild. So we got to figure out how to finance that, and then we're looking at all our roads and seeing what roads need to be done. A lot of our roads, believe it or not, are over 15 years old. So that's more than the time life expectancy of most of our roads. So we need to really take a look at that and see how we can fix that. And then some other capital projects. We want to really fix the roads behind the deli. Adjacent to the deli and to the Chinese place. The parking alley was terrible. We're working with the engineer, Bob O'Shea, to get permission and the process on how to go about fixing that, because it's theoretically going on railroad property. So we're working through that whole process. So that's going to take a little bit of time. And then just the last thing I want to mention is that I've been working a lot with the lakes and Peter Judge Jr. I think he wants to do a Lakes Day. I don't know if we've confirmed that yet. We want to get in and probably pull some of the fragmites out of a couple of lakes. Well, when Chris Pace was in there with the video boat, he did mention that we have a buildup of sediment underneath the bridges. One of the ways that we know, because we're speaking to DEC and to different agencies, we need to continue to have the water flow. When the water's stagnant and we have all these nitrogen particles in there, it creates more beneficial growing. I know that we took out, Mike, what was the final number tonnage-wise? Was it 50,000 or something crazy?
We were at like 62 tons.
All right, 62 tons. So, we did a really good job of really getting a lot of stuff out of there. Hopefully that will decrease the amount of stuff we have in the canal next year. So we jump on it earlier than later and hopefully get ahead of it so that the lakes look nice for everybody. And I would say, I know Jody's supposed to be doing this now, but kudos to Mike and his guys. They did a lot of painting around the village lately. The gazebos look great. The bridges look great. Everything looks great. That's enough short comment to Mike and his guys for keeping the village up. So thank you, Mike. That's what I have to say.
Great, thank you. Trustee Bennett?
Yeah, as far as what's going on, like the mayor mentioned, we had an incident the other night in the canal with a motor and a gas tank being stolen off of Golden Marina. We've been in touch with Code and Pro Protection to step up patrol in the canal. We haven't had any incidents of people checking car doors that we've heard of. We haven't heard anything from Suffolk County PD. But obviously continue to lock the car doors and report any incidents that you do find to Suffolk, and report on the Bright Waters app if you can, so you can share the information with us. Outside of that, we're finalizing locations for sweet homes with the asphalt company for Lombardi, Windsor, and Pacific.
So you want to mention what's going on with the boats?
Oh yeah, so on top of the incident that we had the other night here in Lindenhurst and Amityville, and really west of us, they've had multiple incidents where people are coming in on boat and they're stealing boats, taking them out to the middle of the bay, taking the motors off, and just cutting the boat loose. And hulls are just popping up, you know, beached over on the south side. Sorry.
Hi, Joe Calgieri. Jeannie Purple asked me to come down tonight, so she went to write up the email. My boat was one of the ones that was vandalized last night. So she just asked that I come down just to give details.
All right.
So let me know whenever.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. You want to give details now, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go now, Joe.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, Joe.
So anyway, we
Want to say your name, Joe, so Nicole can write it down, please?
I'm sorry.
Say your name, address.
Joseph Calgieri, 154 Concourse East.
Okay.
So last night, about 6 o'clock, my wife and I were going to go out in the bay just to see the sunset. And so we get on the boat, I start both motors, and I start backing out of the slip. And I knew something was wrong because the starboard throttle, there's two motors on the boat, the starboard throttle just wasn't engaging. And I said, you know, I don't know what's up. So we just backed out and start going forward. And I probably packed just about your house, maybe a little before. You know, this isn't right. So I stopped the motors. Colleen's freaking out. She's like, oh no, we're going to get stranded. I said, Colleen, we're like 20 feet from the house. So I get back to the dock, tie it up. I flush my motors, because I'm pretty anal about flushing my motors. And I hook up the fresh water to the starboard motor. And I noticed that the water's not coming out the side. When you flush it, you know, it's supposed to piss out the side. So nothing's coming out. So I look further, like, oh my gosh, the entire lower unit of that motor was gone. And the only way you're getting that is from the water. Either standing in the water, which I doubt, or on a little boat with low sides. Someone had to know exactly what they were doing. I would say it was a mercury technician or a mechanic. It had to be. I mean, I just don't see anyone else doing what they had, the way they did it. So they had to come in on a boat. It was probably in the middle of the night. I spoke to my mechanic today. Unfortunately, it's under my deductible. I have a large deductible on the boat. So he said it's going to be $3,000 to $4,000 because it's a lower unit. The drive shaft, which goes up to the motor that turns the propeller. Stainless propeller, which alone is $500–600. And it just, you know, blows my mind.
What night do you think it happened then?
Sorry?
What night do you think it happened?
I don't know. The last time we used the boat was Monday night, September 22nd. So sometime between then and it was fine then. Between then and last night. So I called Suffolk County, the cop came, police officer Sid, very nice, gave you a police report number. Detective Walsh called me later in the night last night, told me about the incidents in Lindenhurst, and he also said the Admiralty Marina.
Oh yeah.
He said the Admiralty, they pulled the boat out, towed it out, and they get it to a desolate spot where they can work without being interrupted. Take off the motor and then just abandon the boat.
The only place we've had issues in the canal is actually by your boat. Bongiorno in his boat, he's south of you, and just right by you is Peter Rising's grandson. Got some things taken off the back of his boat. So it's just a kind of an odd spot that they would go all the way up the canal, almost to the northernmost point, and decide to start taking things.
I know. I mean, I could see if they were in a car, because then you could get right on Montauk Highway and get away, but in a boat, they gotta go back up the canal.
Yeah, you'd think they would take more on the southern end, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did the detective mention anything as far as, video or anything that they could
He asked
access?
me for video, we don't have any video in our house. There is one of my neighbors, just, I'd say 4 houses south of me, that does have video cameras on the village trees, right on the street.
Yeah.
So that video, I was looking to see if I saw the person today, I don't know him well, to see if he has the video, because that video would have caught a boat coming down the canal. Definitely.
All right, well, thanks for
He
coming.
also asked me if there's a serial number on the lower unit, which I asked my mechanic today, and he said, no, there's a serial number for the motor, but not on the lower unit. There's a ton of them on eBay.
Yeah.
I'm sure mine's gonna be on eBay shortly.
Sorry, very sorry to hear about it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down.
Yeah.
All right, Trustee Delvecchio?
All right, events. Happy October. The upcoming events include October 12th, we're having our village block party that starts at noon, where we close down the village square. October 25th, we have our witches paddle at 8 a.m., which is a great spectator event if you're not into paddling. People line up along the canal and cheer on all the witches and warlocks that come down the canal. And then October 26th, we have our Ragamuffin Parade at 5 p.m. Starting position is Village Square, going down to the sea. That's all I got.
Okay, great. Yeah, this past weekend when we had the garage sale, traditionally it always was at the park in the fall. When COVID happened, we allowed people, we promoted it more in the houses, and a lot of the residents like it better at the houses. We still do keep some at the park, but you know, it doesn't have, we used to get 65 people in the park with 25 by 25 spaces. Now we'll get maybe 20, 25 in the park, and we have 40 or 50 at the houses. So it's just a mixture. It's a little chaos in the village, but people seem to enjoy it. So that was this weekend. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. On Thursday night at 7 o'clock, the 250th anniversary of the country, the committee is having its second meeting. That's at the cabin at 7 o'clock. The village is taking over the Light the Night in our area. Light the Night used to be done by Bayshore Beautification. Now, I guess they've kind of allowed us to take it over in our own village because they're not going to be doing it anymore. So the Light the Night will be our first kickoff event for the 250th anniversary of the country. So, you know, as we get that a little more organized, we'll get information out to the residents. Pat had mentioned the auditors are still here. They've been here for 6 weeks, going through every inch of our books. So I think they just like the atmosphere. They like being here. I don't see how 6 weeks is possible, but they could be here 2 more weeks. And they're going to find that we have to clean up some policies and we have to sign things quicker, but let them do their work. In town, the yoga studio is just about to open this Thursday, I believe. Is it Thursday or Friday? They're meant to open in town. Taco place took over where the Chinese restaurant is, so they're working away. They owe us some more paperwork. That's probably at least a month away. So, you know, we're looking forward to that. Those 2 things going on. Our next thing on the agenda is we'll say the old hardware store. You'll forever be taking over the old hardware store. There's not going to be anything else. So, unfortunately, that's going. Again, Mary mentioned the block party. The block party, we have music, we have some square dancing, wives participating, oysters. The warm weather looks good, so I anticipate a good crowd for Sunday. Okay, that's all I have. Next thing on the agenda, Charlie, do you want to read through this?
Sure. Mr. Mayor, we have an application at 348 North Windsor Avenue for a special use permit from the Board of Trustees to allow the space to be used as a fresh local market, prepared foods and ice cream counter. Under our village code, that applicant must come before the Board of Trustees to get a special use permit. It's an as-of-right use with granting of a special use permit. So, Mr. Mayor, I would ask that we have a motion to open a public hearing and allow the applicant to present, and the board and the audience can ask questions.
I make a motion to open a public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just a little background too. You guys have, thank you guys for coming, but they've already appeared before the zoning board, the ZBA, and they've gotten relaxation on the parking. Is that
Correct, they
correct?
got a parking variance, Mr. Mayor, yes.
Right, so we know there's no parking in town. We know there's no parking in any town, and people are gonna have to walk, and, which is fine. So they went to the ZBA, now they're coming before us, so please go ahead.
Thank you very much for hearing us.
Say the guy's name and address,
Absolutely.
please.
My name is David Bush, USCH, architect at 90 West Main Street in Bay Shore. With me is Danielle,
Danielle Stratton,
who is the proprietor. So thank you for the introduction. We did attend a ZBA hearing on August 27th. We had success with that. They appreciated the idea of the use and everything. So I'll just keep it simple tonight. If anybody has any questions, certainly address them. But what it is on the ground floor, there'll be a fresh foods market. Danielle can speak to you about some of the food prep and menus and things like that. We'll have fresh local produce, fresh local eggs, artisan baked bread. There's a basement space down below that we use for storage, walk-in boxes, freezer, dry storage goods, employee staff, restrooms, things like that. And on the corner, along North Windsor, on the North Windsor side, the west end of the store, there'll be a little ice cream, homemade ice cream stand, that you can walk up to a pickup window or come inside and grab something from the counter. So I'm happy to address any other questions you might have.
Just hours of operation, days of the week.
Yeah, I'll let you speak.
Yep, so I'm looking to hit like lunch and dinner time, so 11 to 7. I'd like to try to see how that goes, and maybe open 6 to 7 days a week, depending on, the days I end up being busy and where the heat is.
So you're gonna start out without breakfast, you're gonna shoot for lunch and dinner?
Correct.
Okay,
I may go to breakfast, but not this time.
okay,
It's the only two dinners.
okay.
And it's prepared foods, it's not like food to order?
Yeah, so everything is homemade from scratch, very clean food, organic, gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free, very customizable meals for people. No seed oils, no food dyes. It's next level. Nobody else is doing what I'm doing right now. And people will get to pick like how much protein they want, how much vegetables they want. They can order ahead of time, and then I'll also have some vertical options available.
Okay. Are you gonna request some outside seating in the future?
In the future, I would like to.
Okay.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
I think it'll be nice.
Yep. All right, any other questions from the board? Anybody in the audience have any questions? Come on, now, let him go. That is, go ahead.
No, we really do. We feel like it's a great little fit for the corner.
Now, the only thing that we're gonna probably ask is that your employees park along the tracks if possible.
100%. I
You
agree
see,
with that.
it's limited, but
Yeah.
I think it'll work if everybody cooperates, if your employees stay away. But you walk anywhere, you get a magic spot every now and then in front of some place, but 9 times out of 10, Bay Shore somewhere else, you'll walk into where you gotta go,
Okay, walking's good.
so. All right, do we have,
To make a motion to close the public hearing, Mr. Mayor?
all right, I make a motion to close the public hearing, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And you're free to make a decision tonight or reserve decision, that you choose.
Well, what do we just, get voting on whether they can operate?
Yes,
as-
it's voting to grant a special use permit.
Okay. I make a motion to grant them a special use permit. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Good to go.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much.
Good luck. All right. The next thing is, Make a motion to approve an application for a block party to be held on Lombardi Boulevard, October 18, 2025, from 10 to 10, roadblock in Connecticut, Mohawk, and Mississippi Drive. I believe they have this every year. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Consider the application for an outdoor public assembly for the Bayshore Bright Waters Public Library to hold a public meditation program at Walker Beach on Sunday, November 8th, from 2:45 to 5 o'clock. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Make a motion to approve the outdoor public assembly application for the SOS Awareness Foundation Sound of Silence Run, walk May 16, 2026, from 7 a.m. to 1. And we get a fee of $500 from them for setup and cleanup. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Easy peasy.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report and abstracts. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Before I open up to the public, anybody on the board have anything to add?
Sure.
Okay. Make a motion to open to the public. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. If anybody would like to say anything, please raise your hand. Say your name. Ladies first.
Hi, the name Ashley DiCrescenzo. Let me stop it.
Address?
DECRESCENZO. 400 Pine. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the house on Hiawatha because you guys cleaned it. It's fantastic, but now we all have critters. I have cockroaches, I have rats, I have mice.
What's the next move? You can't imagine what the backyard look like.
Listen, 16 years. I've never had a bug. I've never had anything. I had cockroaches coming out of my car, my kids' backpacks. I'm done.
Yeah, we had to go in and do it.
Yeah.
He kept not coming to court, never did what he's supposed to do.
Oh no, you've been great.
Then
I
we-
just,
The
I can't do cockroaches.
the backyard was
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I mean, I spoke to a couple neighbors. So like she's Bayshore, and I know it doesn't matter, but like she has flies and bugs. My neighbor across from me just had to have treatment. So I'm wondering if they're traveling in now because everyone's treating, like we're getting them. But like we're opening up our gas tanks in our car, and they're coming out. So, and my concern is I have a dog, obviously. So I can't put certain things down. Obviously, I have kids. We didn't do our garden this year.
Going first over the kids,
Oh,
huh?
I'm sorry. That's my protector. That's keeping the garbage from breaking into my cars. But yeah, I just I don't know. I mean, I've reached out to people in the town of Iceland, because it's a weird.
Trying to
You know.
border between us and the town of
I
Iceland.
mean, it's got to be unlivable.
Is there a Board of Health issue that we can go to next? Steve. Home thing down there?
I got parked in front of my house for half an hour, so I'm wondering if they all decided to jump ship. I yelled at the poor people. I'm like, what is this? Because it left marks on the road, and I was like, oh my god, things were crawling out of it.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, so can we deal with the Board of Health, please, tomorrow?
Thank you.
Yeah, I would just suggest you could get traps like for roaches and stuff like
Yeah.
that, which don't have chemicals, they're just sticky plates.
I'm gonna put them I don't know. Most of you know where my house is.
Yeah.
I had a garden, so we were gonna stick them all keep them that way. But
Do you have a vegetable garden?
we did not do it this year because of my kids' sports. So
Do you have
usually, yes.
Do you have compost?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
I was just thinking
Yeah,
about what they.
we have nothing. I've never seen a cop. 16 years we've been in Red Rivers. I've
Yeah,
never
no,
even
they
seen one.
fleet ship and they decide to go to your house.
Yeah.
You must have something
I
good.
don't know. I struggle with cockroaches.
All right, that's
So,
We'll
thank
deal with
you.
Thank you for
tomorrow.
coming. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Next. If you just talk loud from there if you want.
Okay, my name is Morris Natalie, 467 Lombardi Boulevard. I want to talk about the speed bumps,
Humps.
speed bumps.
Speed humps. No, there's a difference. The humps are higher and shorter.
Yeah, okay, the speed humps. Okay, we're located between Connecticut and Iroquois, that block. Okay, and I had a recent discussion with Trustee Pitta, and I was happy to hear we're getting speed bumps. Fantastic, because I've been there for 27 years. 27 years we've been speeding all over. It's worse now, but it's been terrible. I was happy to hear about we're getting speed bumps. But then he said, but we're not getting them in this section. Now that section between Connecticut and Iroquois has that curve. And one of the things, it's the only blind curve in Brightburst. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's bad. And I've seen a pretty bad accident with one of my neighbors years ago because of that. So I didn't understand why we wouldn't be putting it in that section. We're going to put it in the first section, the second section, not the third section, and then the following sections. I was able to, I'm at a disadvantage because I wasn't able to get the minutes from the last meeting. I watched the video, but I wasn't still unclear. It looks like the proposal, which was agreed upon, was for 6 speed humps on the board. And I guess in my discussion with Trustee Pitt, at some point it was changed to we're not going to have it in this section. I don't think that's legal. That proposal that's changed subsequent to it being granted.
Well, it was never in your, it was, right now, when we approved the 6th, there was no exact location yet. We were,
That was my initial.
yeah,
Okay.
our thoughts were to hit the entryways, like down by the, when you come north on Lombardi, the first left, I believe, is Woosipi. So before people go onto Woosipi, they're hitting one. On the left, when you get to Iroquois, they're hitting one. And when you go straight on Lombardi north, right where the triangle, where the triangle is.
Right.
So the thought was all 3 entry points to that area, you'd be going over a speed hump to remind people that, you know, you're entering an area.
Yeah.
As you proceed by you guys' house, like you said, you live on a blind corner.
Right.
So putting a speed up on a blind corner, I wasn't sure whether that made sense or not, but again, we're still in discussion, but it just didn't seem to be the right spot to do it. So that's why, you know, they were putting further north of you by the corner, and then even north more, where they're when they're coming south off of Howell, and then by Mohawk. So the price of them are like $1,500–1,600. So just just explaining. Again, you kind of said the key thing. It's a blind corner, so people go around a corner and being a speed hump. You know, is that an issue?
But the thing that got me, the thing that kind of irked me a little bit was that I was told that we were going to put them in your section, so 2 people objected. And I said, well, did I miss the vote? Was I not in that day? Because no one asked me. And the neighbors that objected are right across from me, so necessarily it would have been in front of my house to speed bump, but no one asked me. And so, nothing scientific, but in walking my dog, I spoke to 7 other people on that section, and all of them wanted the speed bumps. Humps. None of them had been consulted whether or not they wanted it or not. None of them knew that we weren't getting them in our section. So that was a little issue. My other issue is with the placement at the stop signs. I don't understand why you would put a speed bump at a stop sign. And I did a little research, AI, but it looks like the Federal Highway Department, agency, which municipalities consult on this, recommends against putting speed bumps at stop signs. It's duplicative, it's a waste of money because people are already stopping there. So why do you need a speed bump? But
It's actually,
it's more dangerous.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just telling you what the feds say. It's redundant, it's more dangerous, and it's more wear and tear on people's vehicles, unnecessary because now we could have a traffic report that said people were going through the stop signs at speed, but I don't think that's the case. People are rolling through them. And I think if you had a bump there, they're just going to go over the bump and they can consider that's enough of a stop.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, people are going to be rolling through it even more. So, I don't understand that.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, our initial idea and based off of what we were seeing was we were going to try and just do it at the intersections. It's called aggressive enforcement. It's stated in the sheet that we looked on as far as what you want to do to get cars to actually stop at a stop sign is you want to put a speed hump in the general area of the stop sign so that you have to stop. And our thoughts were that if we did the intersections, it's going to slow down that traffic. And people, the issue with Lombardi Boulevard, that we got from the traffic survey is that it's a heavily used block.
Right.
You have Windsor, you have Orinoco, and then you have Lombardi. Lombardi's being used by non-residents and whoever else to cut around Fifth Avenue and, speed through. So if we were to put it at the intersections, it's going to slow it down to the point where it's going to be a deterrent. You're not going to want to use it as a throughway. The intersections made sense. It's what we saw, and the people who were at the intersections were happy. We had a woman show up at the last meeting, her and her neighbor across the street begging for one. It made sense, and they were both in agreement.
They're like more toward Howells Road, because they get the initial people shooting off Howells Road south.
Right.
So Rosemary Swank, is that what it was? Or the
Yes.
neighbors? Yeah.
Well, with my discussion with Trustee Pitta, two neighbors came out just north of where I think the one was supposed to go, literally 20 yards away, 25 yards away. And they both said, we want speed bumps, we consent to the bumping in front of our house, and I don't know what the issue with that was. I don't know if that necessarily, I don't know where they should go. I think that traffic professionals should determine where they should go. But
Well, the traffic professionals, we found a lot of their things is just recommendations. That's why we had the traffic study done. The most important thing was to get the volume and the speed. And North Windsor was 5,000 cars. People on Peters and Ackerson have complained about speed. There's 280 cars a day on those blocks. There's over 600 on Lombardi, so it's a big difference. We got a lot of speed going east and west on Connecticut, Mississippi, even Manitowoc a little bit. But we told people, if you want stop signs there, just put some signatures together and we'd be happy to approve them. So, if people say they're going too fast on Mississippi, Connecticut, Iroquois, there's no stop signs going east and west on those blocks. The final locations is still, we still have like one more meeting over there.
I'm glad to hear that, because what's my impression that it was being done like, this week.
That's probably next week. It's still, one more walkthrough. If we have to add one, 6 becomes 7, that's not the end of the world either.
Well, I just said, according to the traffic study, it's one of the more dangerous blocks.
Yeah.
And I think this is the most dangerous section of that most dangerous block. So I would hope that you consider putting something on that section.
Yeah, we are still, but if you stop the cars at the corner and these speed humps force them to make a full stop,
But
then let's see if it's going to stop them from speeding. When we switched to 25, everyone's carrying on like, how stupid we are. Babylon just switched to 25. Lindenhurst just switched to 25. Port Jefferson is switching to 25. So we're so stupid that everybody else is doing it. So just when we do these, we get some criticism also. So again, we could have one more meeting. I'm fine with that. And I'll have Bill arrange with you guys this week. And that way when Fifth Avenue paving comes, we're ready to go. They're going to do this, so you're going to be able to drive on these in a couple of hours. So once they come, there's no more fudging around.
I'm just thinking it's going to be human nature that you're coming down Lombardi, first section, the speed bumps, the second section, has speed bumps, the third section doesn't. You're going to try and make up time, and they're going to go even faster on our section of the road, because there's going to be no speed bumps until they get to the next section. It just seems to me, all they have to do is go to that road once to know that there's no speed bumps in that section, they're going to speed through it. But I'm not a professional, but
We'll still set up one more meeting. I'll have Bill set up one more meeting
I appreciate
with
it.
Mike and you guys yourself and see whatever mutual time we can get together.
Okay.
All right?
Excellent.
We'll try to resolve it going forward. Okay?
Yeah.
We want to get it done, so we can get it done and we can be criticized. So the sooner we get it done, whatever, we'll go forward.
I also saw something about putting lines in the road instead of speed bumps. You draw like, so it gives the impression that's a speed bump. And that's
On the speed humps, we do have to put some white arrows of some kind.
This wouldn't be a hump. This would be cheaper. You just paint the lines, and it's
fake
the
humps?
opposite thing. What's that?
Fake humps?
Yeah, fake humps. But the studies that it works.
Yeah.
It's not as effective as the actual humps.
All right.
It's humps that time.
It's going to be interesting, but it's something that we're going to do. We're committed to doing it. So
Appreciate it.
again, it's not, we'll work on it. Anybody else on any topics? Rich?
Well, Rich Hayhead, Lakeview Avenue North. First, I want to say I'm very pleased that it took only 15 years to get speed humps put in.
Yeah, right.
They're not in yet.
And it's going to take, what, two weeks to take them out?
But on a different sort of interesting thing, I was actually out at a fancy golf course not that long ago, and they have adopted these, they're made by Husqvarna, and these robotic mowing devices that can do 4 acres a day. They've eliminated half the grounds crew, and they do a terrific job, and they're automated, and they self-charge and all this stuff. And I know we have shortage of help, and mowing is a big pain in the butt around here. You could probably put one in Gilbert Park to at least try it, and it could keep Gilbert Park completely mowed without any manual effort for the whole season for less than it costs. And if it works, you could put them in Lucipi and a few other places and help Mike have his guys not be driving around with earmuffs and things over their face.
Do you have like a company name or any?
Well, Husqvarna is
It's
one of
like
the
a
big
Roomba.
names. It's a big,
Right? It's a Roomba for your
it's much more sophisticated than a Roomba, but
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
And they really, I swear to God, they did all the fairways. They didn't trust these devices to do the greens because they had guys do the greens, but all their fairways were completely done now by these robots. And they work on GPS and all that, and they have anti-theft devices to them. And when they run, and if they bump into you, they walk around you. It was unbelievable. It's fascinating to watch them, and they're not terribly expensive. And it'll save the village a lot of money and a lot of aggravation.
But you said there is a company name that you could...
Well, that's one. There are a half dozen companies that make them. This is not
Oh, yeah.
Husqvarna, Husqvarna or something like that. Is a big company. They've been making them for like 30 years. And it's a giant Roomba.
What golf course was
It was in Gates Mills, Ohio, so I can't tell you what it is, but it was a fancy golf course. And I was having lunch and watching it. It was fascinating. But they really do work.
No, we'll look into it, Rich. No, thank you. Anybody else? John?
Yeah, reference the yard cleanup. I've had a house in the village for like 6 years, and I've had that problem twice. Both times, the village came over, they did a good job, they cleaned it up, and I believe you put that onto their taxes. Now, like I say, you saw the house over there?
Yeah.
I mean, you had a big sign saying you now enter in bright water, this and that, all this, and the first house you see looks like they've been doing airstrikes on the place. It was really, but I'm just saying, maybe you could encourage the code enforcement officer to report this stuff right away and send them a letter saying clean it up in 10 days and we're going to do it. That way you don't end up with the roaches and the rats and all the other things there. Like I said, the village does a good job cleaning it up. It just seems like it takes a while before it gets done.
Yeah, the problem is the process and the legal system, you know? Nothing is easy. We could give him all kinds of summonses and tickets and he doesn't show up in court. So then that goes back and forth for months and months and months. And then we can't go on the property if he lives there? Is that what it is?
Well, you
Unless we
can't
have
go on the
permission?
property without his permission.
Without his permission.
Or a court order. So what we did was I spoke to the homeowner, and we were going to go to court. The mayor had authorized me to go to court. We were getting ready to go to court. And I spoke to the homeowner, and he realized that it needed to be remediated, and we went into a consent and authorization agreement, and he allowed us to go on his property with a signed agreement. But it is a legal process.
The grass was high in that front yard.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had to go through this big process.
You do.
Yeah, if he didn't live there, if the house is abandoned, like we have some other houses where no one's in, we can go on those properties and build it. But since the gentleman does live in there somewhere, I don't know where, but again, it's sad. It's sad.
Could you send him that letter? Just say, your yard's a mess, we're gonna clean it up. Send him that letter right away. And don't do it. Maybe that would encourage him to get out and clean it up.
You can't send a letter like that without his, you can't send a letter saying we're going to come on your lawn, on your property, if you do not clean it up in 5 days. That's not the law. You need his permission.
You didn't have any problem sending me a letter when my dog was talking. All right, thank you.
No, John, it was sad, unfortunately, but.
She got one too.
I did.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? Kristen?
Christian Sullivan, 431 Ackerson.
I want to say thank you for the support around the Wreaths Across America effort. We're trying to lay wreaths out at Long Island National Cemetery in December. We're a national nonprofit. We are now have a partnership with the Brightwater's Historical Society, so it's going to turn into a fundraiser that helps benefit Brightwater's Historical Society. So we'll be at their booth on Saturday. First, that was a thanks. So I don't know if you know this already, but when I went to the Historical Society, Islip Town gave the Bayshore Historical Society gave me some books, some records, and it has records of Brightwater's veterans from World War I and World War II.
Awesome.
Do we have those records?
I believe we have those books.
You do have
We have
those
those
books?
books, yes.
Great, because it has about 200 names of soldiers from just World War II. So I don't know if we recognize them anywhere. But I'm trying to find out if these individuals are buried at Long Island National, because I can't get from their database according to the neighborhood. I have to enter in everybody's name to get a confirmation. So it's taking a little time. But maybe
You're going
by next
through-
year I'll have that information for the village to share. But I just,
Yeah, if you're going through that book and would like to accumulate the list for the group, I would probably appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not in order of where you live, right? It's alphabetical, I believe, in there.
yeah, this, World War I is alphabetical.
Brightwater's.
Yeah.
What's that?
So it lays out the Brightwater's, the people from Brightwater's who served in that.
Yeah, right in the World War II book.
Yeah.
The World War I book, it's just alphabetical, but the first thing under their name is their neighborhood. So I have a couple students who are doing some community service with me to go through this and try to create these databases. So I'll pass that on the information. But first, I thank you. And then second is an appeal about the north side of the village. About a year ago, I was here asking about the lampposts that are out in front of the storage facility. Those lamps don't work. There's still one lamppost that's at the entrance to go to Carvel. That light bulb still is out, and there's 2 spots for trees. When we have smaller trees we place there, it just would help with the beautification. That storage unit, sure takes they do a great job of taking care of the property, but just those corners and hopefully pure paint, we will eventually look good again. But that and the underpass, now we have the graffiti there, so I don't know if anyone's called about the graffiti to have that removed right away, but it's been about a month. So
Mike, who keeps track of the lights north of there? Is that supposed to be code at night?
Yes.
Could you just review that, please? And get that
So,
up?
do you have the app, the My Brightwater's app?
Oh yeah, I've entered that report twice. I've called.
When you were there at that location? So it has geolocate on it, and if you go to do that in the app, you go to right of way, and you actually would geolocate and say that gets reported into Kristen, and then that report goes to Mike, and then they have to follow up on that. So it's called accountability. The other thing, I think I've said this to you before, it's frustrating to us too because we're not allowed to touch any of the pathway or anything under the underpass. It's not ours to touch. The lights were gifted to us, but that's not our property. That's right of way, and it's not Brightwater's right of way, and it has to do with the landlord of that building. And is that the county, Bob? Yes. County. So we're really not allowed to do anything. We had to get permission to abandon the lights because they kept knocking them down, and it cost us $3,750. Was that the correct number, Nicole? $3,750 to replace them every single time. So
that was just to buy them, and then we had to install them. I think it was $6,000.
So it was.
You and I have had this discussion.
So it's super incredibly frustrating. So what I had done is I asked a couple of the tenants in that building to ask the landlord to put a tree in there, and then I asked them actually just to put a tree in. Bob, close your ears. It's because sometimes you just gotta do things, right? We've cleaned up under the underpass in the past, even though our guys are not supposed to. It's frustrating to us because that is one of the entries into Wrightwoods, and we only can push so much. So maybe we're gonna find out who we have to call and maybe get the residents to start calling, because I know that helped us with Keyspan and National Grid. So.
Don't you just call Steve Flattery? Because I called one time because my poor little kids were reading like Black Lives Matter and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, I think we need to call. And they came and painted right away. I think it's our local, I call your local legislator, and they'll come and paint.
Maybe.
Well, I think
Right away.
I think under the overpass is the state, correct?
Yeah, it's either
Yeah.
state or local,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
called, and because it was all curse words, and my kids were like 6 and 7, and I was like, oh my gosh, you can't say that word.
The point's
And they
made,
did.
just if you could advocate, that's great,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And again, so you're saying that the lights that are on the streets that are outside the storage facility are not maintained by the village?
The lights.
Because those have not worked since they have. You can go up to
It's our
town.
responsibility, their
Those
responsibility.
are our responsibility.
Yeah, they're on Suffolk County property, but it's the responsibility of the village to maintain.
Okay. So those ones are ours. So we will get that fixed right away. Bob's writing notes now.
Just a heads up, Sully, I just was down in Annapolis, they had a boat show there, and outside the boat show, they had a big booth for Reeds Across America. So it actually must be a legitimate outfit if they have it down there, you have it there. I'm checking on
Okay,
it.
good. I got that validation, yeah.
But it was interesting, a small world that it was down there also. Anybody else? Any other residents? All right, just one thing I forgot to mention before. At Sunday's block party, the artist who did all the artwork for the Ryder Cup, she's going to be at the event, and she's going to be, signing things. She came to one of the Historical Society meetings, and she signed the stuff then, and it was pretty reasonable. It was numbered prints, and she was selling them for $50, $60. So she's going to be there Sunday also. She works out of Bohemia, but she's done it for the Ryder Cup, for the all the majors that have happened at Bethpage has been her work. So that's going to be a nice little touch there on Sunday. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
They work on